Hello folks, welcome to another episode of Yogi Dave's Hobby Podcast, the hobby podcast where I talk about board games, RPGs and tabletop war games and skirmish games and all the stuff that encompasses. So this is after the Infinity RPG real play that I've recorded, that's up as well, and I just wanted to talk about a little bit about it. Obviously, if you listen to it, you've heard, how we kind of played it out at this point, and it was quite interesting. I'll say that for one thing. I really do enjoy the 2D20 system that Modifius use. It's I don't know why I like it. This is the thing. I need more games played before I can say why I like it and why I don't like it, or why I enjoy it. Compared more to, say, a single D20 system, or a D100 system, or D6 system, or it's just, it's maybe because it's new and it's different, but I've really enjoyed it so far. And the thing with the Infinity one, it is quite different from the Star Trek one. The Star Trek one, you have a lot less skills and stats and stuff to look at and try and figure out what you need to pass a skill test. But the thing is, though, you have to pass a skill test on whatever the GM says is the combination of your speciality and your, I can't even remember what it is now, your abilities, speciality and your abilities. So that was the thing about the Infinity one. There's a lot more scope, a lot more skills, and a lot more ways of not being very good at this particular thing and having a group that is less able to do stuff. Don't get me wrong, thanks to dice rolling, the other group, the Star Trek group, is really not good at doing certain things, but with the Infinity group, there's a lot of characters with a very tight set of characteristics, and we've got a couple of good hackers, we've got one good combat specialist, there's a couple of good shooters, there's one talker, but apart from that, everyone else is kind of like, oh, I'm alright at this, and I'm alright at that. My character's a fighter, and a guy with a lot of resistance, so he can take a lot of damage, and if he needs to do survival checks and all the rest of that kind of stuff, he can survive better than pretty much everyone. But when it comes to shooting, he's alright. When it comes to his agility, he's not bad, but other than that, he's not got great skills. He's a 10 for hacking, and he's got 2 points of abilities in it, so 2 ability points in it. It's like, well, not all that good. It's kind of mid-range. The guy's not the smartest tool in the shed, let's be honest. Which, actually, given his backstory and the fact that he's a soldier and a politician, kind of makes sense. But I like the way that the group dynamic worked in this one, because Duncan, who plays Tang Hao, the face and the talker in the group, he's new to the group, and he really took a leadership role in it, which I RP'd as well, because obviously my character, Cal, is a former soldier, and he's used to taking orders, and he used to following orders, because he wasn't very high placed. Even though he's very high placed in one of the clans of Caledonia. His grandfather's the clan chief. His father will be the clan chief after him, and he'll probably be the clan chief after his dad. But he's still not, which was still not very high placed in the Caledonian military and the Ariadnan military. He went from grunt to lieutenant to, was it captain? I think he's retired in inverted commas so he's made his way to that position, but he's not like super super officer or highly placed officer or anything like that, despite his heritage and his training, which there's more backstory to that, but it's going to be interesting to see how everyone's backstory pushes them on, how it's going to work out once everyone's got their background put together, and once certain people have their names, not mentioning my younger brother at all. I'll get little bios done up, and I'll put it up on the podcast website, and I'll maybe get pictures of everyone up as well. But yeah, it was an interesting, different dynamic to what we normally have, and also there was a lot more of planning involved in what we were going to do. Generally, what happens in our group is we decide, right, we're going to do this, and then we just do it. We don't plan how we're going to go at it. We just go, let's do this, which can lead to hilarious afters, but also at the same time can lead to calamity. But yeah, I think we also got pretty far in the adventure, which it's quite good for the first session, because in Star Trek we're in the second act, I think, of the adventure, and still on page 1 of it, and that has been about 6 weeks or six sessions worth of play. So we're not getting very far in that, considering the fact that we've got to the same point in in fact we've got further on in the Infinity one in a week than it's taken us 6 weeks to get in the Star Trek one. Yeah, it's going to be entertaining anyway. What else was I going to talk about? See, the thing is with these podcasts is I never plan them, and obviously with an actual play one, you can't plan out. I mean, as a GM, you're going to be able to plan out a game, but it's only the plan only works up until the players meet it. Yeah, that was one thing. So I don't know whether I've talked about it before, but I have been trying to set up a Thursday night game with my mates for quite a while, but they're all kind of humming and hawing about it. So I decided, right, okay, I'll start a new group. I'll find a group of players closer to me that will come down, and we can do a Thursday night. And until the missus was like, no, not having strangers in my house. You don't know whether they're psycho killers and they're going to chop us up and eat us. Not exactly her words, but pretty close. So, I mean, I'd already started talking to people about a group. So, we are going to get a place. We're going to do it every Thursday in the Golf Lounge in Glasgow, I think. Is the Golf Lounge? I can't remember. And the venue's sorted out. But the thing is, it's like 6 or 7 players, which I think that was the max I'm going to allow. And every one of them is a new player. It's the first time I have had an entire group of new players as a GM since I first started GMing, basically. It's never, I played in a group of new players as a player, and this is like my second time as GMing a group of brand new players. And it's like, well, they've all watched like Critical Role and all these, RPG, tabletop RPG TV shows, streaming shows, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be difficult, because they're expecting, you don't know what they're expecting, but they're expecting a little bit more polish than most, but at least back in the day makes me sound like I'm ancient, but compared to them, I'm fucking ancient. Back in the day, obviously, you started out, you never had any of this stuff. It was very much, you were a collective group of geeks, getting involved in a hobby, and it was all your mates. You were all banded together doing this hobby. Whereas these are 7 complete strangers, never met them in my life before. So I don't know any of their character, any of their characteristics, any of their quirks or anything like that. So it's going to be very different for me to try and integrate everyone into the group, trying to get everyone as a group, make sure nobody feels like they're being left out, let people express themselves in the game and in their characters, and it's also going to be quite different because the group dynamic is there is almost half female, which is a huge thing, because up until now, not had a lot of female players in the groups that I played, because of just a lot of the groups I've played have been groups of mates, and girlfriends don't want to play it because they think it's a bit weird, or they're busy while we're gaming, or various other reasons. So it's going to be a different table dynamic, which I'm looking forward to, because there's going to be a lot. Well, I think there's going to be a lot more tactics and thought put into anything that we do, and I'm hoping that there's a lot of smarter moves that are made in some of our games, because you might not think it, but a lot of the time with RPGs and more games and everything, it's it's a testosterone burn for a lot of guys that are gamers. I know it sounds stupid, but I've had it. I've had adrenaline dumps and testosterone buzzies and all the rest of that from getting scoring high and getting critical hits and stuff like that. It sounds weird, but it's the same kind of thing that I get from kickboxing and jiu-jitsu and boxing and all the martial arts that I've done. It's weird. It is really, really weird. I didn't start doing any of that stuff till I was older than I was when I've been gaming, obviously. And it's it is. It's really, really strange that you get that same buzz and that same burst of testosterone, burst of adrenaline, all that kind of stuff. And you're rolling dice and you're playing with little minis. It is very strange. Though the thing as well, which I'm very much looking forward to, is a different sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Different experience as a GM. I think it's going to be a completely different experience as a GM. I don't think it's going to be a completely different experience as a GM because, the table's half women. I think it's going to be a different table experience because I'm older than everyone that I'm going to have at the table by at least 7 years. Some I've been alive longer than I've been alive longer than any of them, but I've been gaming longer than every single one of them's been alive. I've been drinking legally longer than one of them's been alive. I've been working longer than several of them have been alive. Well, no, that's not true. I've been working longer than two of them have been alive. One of them wasn't even in school when I went out and started working. You know what I mean? It's going to be very different. This is a generational gap anyway, because at least in the youngest 2 players, maybe 3 players, lifetimes, geeking, the geek hobby, at least since they've been children, the geeking hobbies have become far more mainstream. So they haven't got kind of that stigma that has always been attached to gaming, which I've never, followed that train of thought before. But I know people have. I know people that are my age or older than me who, hide the hobby from their workmates, their pals, their significant others, and I think that absolutely is like, what? Why would you do that? I don't understand this. I mean, I've always been completely open and honest about, I'm a geek, but, there's girlfriends I've had that have been like, well, they can't reconcile the kickboxing ex-bouncer, especially back when I wasn't so fat, athletic guy. Well, I'd say athletic. I've never really been that athletic because of my dyspraxia, but there's other things involved in that. But they can't reconcile that with the geek. It's like, well, how do you get that and that? It's like, well, we all come in different shapes and sizes. I mean, Vin Diesel, for crying out loud. Vin Diesel's one of the biggest names of RPG players I've ever heard of. Vin Diesel's probably worth billions of pounds. Joe Manganiello, is that how you say his name? The guy that's playing Deathstroke in the DC universe. He's all over it, I think Mila Kunis, I don't know whether or not she did D&D, but she certainly did Warcraft, It's like, well, it's just what people enjoy. I know computer gaming is far more accepted, or has been up until now, far more accepted than tabletop gaming, but tabletop gaming's starting to get into the mainstream, so the thing is I'm looking at it as well as this isn't a brand new group of players, and it's going to be weird for me because I've always had, except from back in the early days when I first started playing RPGs, I've always had kind of a core of players that know what they're doing and understand the ins and outs of RPGs. It might not be the same set of rules, but it's the same basic principles. And this is all one new group of, I think a couple of them have played some one shots, and it's going to be a bit weird for me to do this, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I really hope that the group enjoys. And the thing is, I was looking for a group that would GM, and I wouldn't just be the guy DMing all the time. But what I think I'm going to do is talk to them about it and say, well, obviously when I'm back in work, I might have to rein in as much time as I've got to go, or when I've got projects due, I'm going to have to say, well, I can't make it this week, so somebody's going to have to GM, somebody else is going to have to GM. I don't want to push it on them, but I want to find out who, obviously the first couple of weeks is finding out who is kind of the right people to GM, and say to them, well, I think you'd be good at this, or that's the thing. Having played in games with good GMs, with bad GMs, having been a bad GM and a good GM, I can kind of gauge the players that are going to be good at it and the ones that aren't going to be good at it. But we'll see. I'm going to say to them, I'm going to be honest with them about it. There are going to be times where I can't get down. You're going to have to, figure out amongst yourselves who's GMing a different game. I don't want to just be that. I just don't want to be the GM. I want to be a GM and I want to be a player. That's the thing that I'd like to talk to them about. I'd like to talk to them about it in person, but right now that's not possible. But it's something I'm going to have to talk to them about for sure. What else is new? What else am I going to talk about today? Oh, yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about was if any of you who are listening want to come on the podcast, I'm going to be setting up some interviews with various gaming people over the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to try and put them interspersed with these kinds of podcasts, the actual play podcasts, the podcasts that are based on a single subject, all the different podcasts in the one place before I start chucking them out in different channels. This guy's going to be a while away right enough. I will point that out. That'll be me back in work, kind of, well, full-time work anyway, because the painting and stuff is work, I suppose. But you know what I mean. Full-time, 40-hour-a-week job. That'll be when I start looking at a network rather than just a channel. So yeah, if you guys want to be involved, let me know. My email is, as always, Yogi Dave's Hobby Podcast. No, it's not. It's Yogi Dave's Hobby Corner at goodgo.com, not gmail.com even. I can't even bloody say things right today. Don't know what's wrong with me. Well, there's plenty wrong with me, but let's not get into that. What was I thinking? Yeah, so YogiDave's Hobby Corner at gmail.com, all in lowercase. First one I'm trying to set up is Dan Adam from Paint All the Minis, the man who inspired the podcast and the YouTube channel. So, you know, I want to get him. I'm going to talk to him about his gaming experience, you know, what he likes to play, how he got into it, and all the rest, that kind of stuff. I'm sure he's talked about it before, but we'll have him on the channel and we'll get him talking, because he's normally the one that gets other people talking. There's other people that are looking at. I've put it up on the Twitter feed, and people are like, yeah, we'll do it, but I need to put it back up and go, right, I know there was people who said they were going to do it, but can you confirm? But yeah, that hopefully Dan, I'll get him put in very soon, and I'll get it penciled in for very soon. I'm on holiday next week. I am on holiday from next Wednesday, and I know I am not working at the moment, but at the same time, I'm a season holiday, so I'm on holiday. Any hobby stuff that gets done, any painting, any terrain making, it'll be for me, it'll be for nobody else. This is the time of year that I take off. There were times in my life I've taken 2 weeks off, but I don't do work at my birthday. Never have worked on my birthday in my life, and I've been working 20 years this year, so that tells you how long I've been working. So yeah, if you want to come on the podcast, give me a shout. We'll get you in. We'll get you interviewed, and you know, you'll be immortalised on podcast. Little thing. Looks APS. He's doing a series on D&D Tales. So he started it last week, I think. Hold on, I'm just gonna have a look because I cannot remember. I know he's doing them, but yeah. So improving Dungeons and Dragons encounters. Now this is not just your dungeon tiles and stuff like that. This is wilderness tiles. You know, any kind of tile you could think of. Like he's doing tiles. Any kind of environment you could think of, he's sorting out these tiles, and he's going to be doing a series on them. So if you are a TTRPG player and you want to have a little bit more oomph on your gaming table and on your what's the word I'm looking for, and your games, go to the Lux APS channel on YouTube, and he is doing something a little fun, I think, and I think it'll be really good. So I'm actually going to stop here. I know this is a very short podcast for me, because normally I run into at least an hour, but I didn't have a lot to talk about on this subject, and I didn't want to get much more on anything other than the RPGs and everything. I suppose here is RPG related, but also podcast related. So at this moment in time, the Lieutenant Calsius raffle is on. We still have what 26 25 days left in the raffle. So by the time this is recorded and posted, will still be a couple of days on that one. You know, in order to enter, go to my Kick account, or my Coffee account. The link is on the podcast website. If you email me, I can pass it on to you, or I'm going to put it in the notes as well. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. Obviously, if you're enjoying, like it, share it, subscribe. If you're liking the podcast, like it, share it, subscribe it, review it, comment on it, do anything you can to help us expand the viewership. Also, YouTube channel. Watch the YouTube channel. There is some newer stuff in there. I mean, obviously the podcast gets uploaded to it, but at the same time, I've got playthroughs of board games. I've got unboxings. I've got primers to a couple of games. There's lots of different things on there, hobby related. I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to say good day and happy hobby.